So Anthony Joshua versus Dillian Whyte 2 will be £26.99 on pay-per-view in the UK. I didn't talk about the price point of this pay-per-view in the previous video I did about this fight because I didn't know the price point. As soon as I heard the news that the fight was confirmed, I did a video immediately before I knew every single detail. Now I know the price point, I can talk about it. There's a lot of uproar over the fact that it's $26.99. A lot of people don't believe the fight is worth that amount. Not only do I agree, but I don't think this fight should be on pay-per-view at all. Even if it was £20, I don't think it's pay-per-view fair. At least not for my money. At the end of the day, as paying customers, you get to decide as an individual whether you think this fight is worth it or not, worth your money. And for me, this fight is not worth pay-per-view. And the reason I say this is because you've got two fighters in Anthony Joshua and Dillian Whyte who have lost 2 of their last 4 fights. So this isn't a world title fight. This isn't even a fight between 2 guys who are coming off a good run of form. This is 2 guys who are coming off a bad run of form, losing 2 of their last 4 fights and both having poor performances against a common opponent in Jermaine Franklin. That's not pay-per-view fair for me. I've got no issue with the fight per se. It's a crossroads fight. Both guys are at a similar stage of their careers. And for Anthony Joshua, he's looking to fight Dillian Whyte and then go on to fight Deontay Wilder. So he's going to need some type of preparation for Wilder. Not that Dillian Whyte stylistically or in terms of dimensions is similar to Deontay Wilder in any way, but at least he's someone who's going to try to win, who's going to be throwing real punches, and it will help AJ get sharp before going into that Wilder fight. Because most people agree that if AJ fights Deontay Wilder, in order to stand any realistic chance of winning, he needs to be as sharp as he can possibly be, and he needs to have his confidence sky high. Because if he goes in there and shows any sign of weakness or hesitation, Deontay Wilder's going to smell blood, and it's going to be curtains for Anthony Joshua. Maybe early, like Carl Froch said, AJ getting knocked out in 1 round. That is more likely if you have a less confident, less sharp Anthony Joshua. So the trajectory that he's going on right now, rebuilding his career, trying to gel with new trainer Derek James, I completely understand it. It's what Mike Tyson did after he lost to Buster Douglas. He hooked up with a new trainer, had some easier fights before stepping up. Same thing that Lennox Lewis did after he lost to Oliver McCall. Hooked up with a new trainer in Manny Stewart, had some easier fights before stepping up. That's the way it's done when you are going through a difficult time in your career, when you've lost your titles, when you've lost your confidence. And so this is how it's done. So I get it. I understand why they're fighting Dillian Whyte and then going on to fight Deontay Wilder. And I applaud them for removing the rematch clause from the contract because this fight right here doesn't need a rematch clause. Neither one of them is a champion, and whoever loses is finished. So what's the point in a rematch? You're not going to redeem yourself if you're Anthony Joshua and you lose to Dillian Whyte by having a rematch. No, you're done if you lose the first fight. So doesn't need a rematch. If it was like, again, a world title fight, yeah, you can understand the rematch clause being there as long as it's not a mandatory defense. But for 2 guys who are not champions with 2 losses in their last 4 fights each, coming off poor performances against Jermaine Franklin. No, this is last chance saloon. So forget about rematch clauses. So I'm glad they removed that. And I keep saying that for my money, this is not pay-per-view fair. Ultimately, the public will decide whether this is pay-per-view worthy or not by how many of them actually buy the fight, by how many of them actually buy tickets. If it does, I don't know, 700,000-800,000 buys, then obviously I'm in a minority thinking it's not pay-per-view worthy. But if it only does 300,000 or 400,000 buys, maybe there's a lot of other people who feel the same way that I feel. I'll leave it there.